That is the night that Meghan said she didn't want to be alive anymore. Look at her absolutely belly grabbing, belly showing, fake belly, in my very humble opinion, clearly. But look at the spotlight. Oh my God. She's not only surviving, she is thriving when the spotlight hits her. My goodness. I think that woman, I peed her pants. And of course, there goes the belly grab, because what kind of a bad actress would Meghan be if she didn't grab that fake belly? Precious. Nobody buys her BS. Hello, good morning. I have City here who's demanding, as you can see, attention. Godita. City. Okay. Hello. Look at her little paw. Ooh, I love her. Anda jodida. Okay, we're going to do this video about this because many people have asked about it and they have wanted to know about Doria. What's up with Doria, really? And whether the Markles actually know more than what they're saying. Has she been in jail? Why wasn't she around Meghan Markle more? I know that there have been countless videos done about this, but now with Samantha's new lawsuit, or the refiling of the new lawsuit, there's some questions that we do need to address, okay? And I will address them with you right away.
I don't cry as much as Rachel does. I don't think anyone does. I mean, the stakes are so high, who wouldn't be crying?
Now, I hope you can all hear me. I have the mic as high up as possible, so I hope you can all hear me. So I've been deciding, I know that I've even done some of those videos about Doria and the speculation around her. And again, it falls back in with the fact that nothing is transparent with this woman. I did find two supposedly that match Doria Ragland, her relatives and her address, to criminal records. Okay? I found that, and you can see that right now. As you can see, I haven't ordered them because whenever I try to order them, it says that they can only send it to an address in the United States. I don't have any. I have asked other people to do it. For some reason, they won't do it. So, but they're there. But I have a feeling that those two criminal records are not going to bring the reason why Doria was absent from Meghan Markle pretty much from the age of 8 or 9 till she almost graduated from high school. Because we do know she attended Meghan Markle's high school graduation because the videos are there, right? But none of the teachers remember ever seeing Meghan Markle's mom. They never saw her. Doria never went to any of the parent school meetings. And we know that that's there because many have said it. We also know that the Markle family are capable of lying in the sense to protect one another. I'm sure every family member does that. I mean, the royal family is very guilty of that. But we have the Markles on record for saying, Mr. Markle saying that, and Samantha saying that, yes, Harry had met Mr. Markle and other stuff. I'm sure that they did that to give the false impression that they were that they were a normal family, that they communicate on a regular basis, which I'm sure they did prior to Harry. And they didn't want to throw Meghan to the wolves, and they didn't want to see themselves as terrible people, because the implication of not being invited to the wedding, a lot of people are going to say, why? This is your sister, this is your brother, this is your father. I do not believe Mr. Markle was ever officially invited. I don't think there were ever any intentions of him doing so. Jason Kanoff was in contact initially with Mr. Markle, but then that contact was, from what we know in the sources and some of the statements that Jason Kanoff has said, that was stopped by Meghan Markle. And the palace didn't know what to do about it because immediately they had assumed that Meghan Markle would afford the same protection to Mr. Ragland and her siblings as she had Doria. But that communication at the very early stages was cut off by Meghan Markle because she said that she wanted to handle that with her family and on her own. I wonder, that's it. So why am I saying this about the Markle family being able to lie about it? Everybody does. This is how the Markles are liars. The royal family has lied consistently about Harry. They're still protecting him and Meghan. They hid the abuse of many palace employees. They're still hiding it, among other things. So why am I saying this? Because it is very possible that the Markle family are refusing to talk about why Doria was absent from the almost 10 years from Meghan Markle's life. Yes, they said that from the age of 2, Meghan Markle they were sharing 50-50 custody. She would spend 50 time, not custody, they had both had shared custody, but Meghan Markle would spend 50% of their time. Now, why didn't Doria move to a place closer to Mr. Markle? I mean, you can do that in LA. She could have lived in a very small flat, nice little flat. I'm sure Mr. Markle was being quite generous with her, just to be around her daughter. That excuse that, it was more convenient because Mr. Markle lived closer to Meghan Markle's school. I don't buy it. As a mother, because I am a mother. As a mother, there was absolutely no way in hell that, an address. I would have looked for a place closer to where I live. 40 minutes, and besides, Doria, according to Meghan Markle's own words in the past, we know that her words vary. She stated that her mother only moved about 40 minutes away across town, which is nothing in LA. That is a nothing distance in LA. So that because of her job, and that Mr. Markle had more time. And this is where the contradiction starts. Because Mr. Markle is on record, and people are on record saying that he was a hard-working man, that he would work up from 80 to 90 hours a week, that he was so busy that he would send for a limo. That he would send for Meghan in a limo because sometimes he couldn't pick her up. That's how busy he was. And she would be brought on set so she wouldn't be alone at the house. So if he's working that hard to the point that he has to bring his own daughter to work, I mean, what was Doria doing? Was she the president of the United States and we didn't know about it? Was she a spy? Is that why she, because we have to, I know that sounds ridiculous, but we have to consider that possibility. Because only if Doria was an active spy for the CIA, being sent to places where it would be dangerous for Meghan Markle, for Meghan Markle, I can understand that. But, or if she was in jail or somewhere that she couldn't get out, that's jail. Or she didn't care about her daughter enough. Those are the options that we have. So, and you ask me, Paula, why are you looking for criminal records? Why don't you ask Samantha? I have asked Samantha point blank many times, where was Doria? And her answer has always been very evasive and tell me that, she doesn't remember, that, that she doesn't know. Mr. Markle has been asked point blank where Doria was, and he has been very sketchy, avoiding the answer. So there is no way that Mr. Markle or Samantha would not know where Doria was for those almost 8 or 9 years of Meghan Markle's life where she was absent. There's absolutely no way. We know that if Doria had been in jail, there would have been a scandal in the family and everybody would have known about it. So, and this is where the issue goes with her lawsuit. Because if she lived in the house with Meghan Markle, and if she was that close, or somewhat at least, familiar, because, I have relatives that I don't see years and years and years on end, but I know what's going on in their lives because, we know about it. The whole family knows about it. So you're telling me, and I would see even if I haven't seen my relatives in years, when we see each other, we joke and we pick up as though we have been seeing each other every day. So there's a familiarity to it. Even if you don't, I have cousins here that I go to their farms, and I haven't seen them in years. And I go there and it's like I walk into that house as though I own it. And I'm not being Meghan Markle. I mean, that's how familiar we are. We grew up together when we were kids. It's just that our lives are taking a different path right now. But we call each other, we go see each other, everything, and we don't see each other on a daily basis. I don't even see them for their birthdays. You ask me where their birthdays are, I don't know. But whenever I go see them, the warmth, the caring is there. Something bad happens, I know I will go see them. So, yeah. So it doesn't make any sense that Mr. Markle and Samantha Markle, Mr. Tom Bauer spent some time with Mr. Markle. And Mr. Markle was very sketchy. Sorry about that. Mr. Markle was very sketchy with Tom Bowers as to where Doria was. Tom Bowers has come out on the record and said that allegedly Doria was in jail or something like that. She was in prison or something like that. I believe that. I would not believe that she was a spy for the CIA, although you never know. Gloria Steinem was one, according to the Royal Grift, who did an amazing job. I recommend you go see those 2 videos of her because she did an amazing job, the Royal Grift, about digging about Gloria Steinem. And it seems that Gloria Steinem was a CIA operative. So the only options are either Doria was in jail, or actually there's 4. Doria was in jail, Doria was a CIA operative in dangerous missions, which is why she couldn't be with Meghan Markle. She didn't care, or she was gravely ill to the point that she spent 8 years in a coma or with some medical condition that we don't know about. Now, had it been a medical condition, Mr. Markle and Doria probably would have said, oh, she was sick. No, this is why she couldn't look after her daughter. But no, none of them have ever said that. So when you ask me if I have asked Samantha, yes, I have. Mr. Markle has been repeatedly asked. You saw the 2 records that I posted there. And Tom Bauer, I'm pretty sure, uncovered that. I haven't ordered the 2 criminal records. I'm sure that those are not it. I'm sure there's something there, but it's not the main reason as to why Doria was absent from her daughter for 8 or 9 years. My money is that she was in legal troubles because of her work. Meghan had to go live with Mr. Markle because she was a travel agent. I am not buying that. It smells funny, so I won't eat it. It's the same thing. Please tell me if that makes any sense. That Doria was a travel agent and her daughter lived in the same town. And she had to go live with her father, who worked 80 to 90 hours a week. Had to bring his own daughter to work because he couldn't leave. And there was no babysitter for Meghan Markle while the mother is there, right across town. The mother's living right across town, and Mr. Markle is having to send a limo to pick up Meghan Markle to go to his job and stay late because, he had to work long hours. So I am not buying this. So we go back again to Samantha Markle's lawsuit. This is where it chips away at the credibility of it all. Because it's better for them to say, we much rather not say, it's up to Doria to disclose that information, than for them to say, oh, we don't remember, we don't know. Because how can Mr. Markle not know where the mother of his adored little princess is? I would be concerned. I would be looking, where are you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Nobody's asked me if I'm okay. So I am not buying what they're trying to sell. To me, they are covering up. I mean, you guys are even single mothers, especially unless Doria was a deadbeat mother, which could be, but Mr. Markle, again, doesn't want to say that Doria screwed off with another man and didn't want to have anything to do with Meghan Markle because she was living her own life. That could also be the case. But clearly, Mr. Markle is not willing to say that. The Markle family are still covering up for Doria Ragland. And I don't get why. I really don't get why. And this is where their credibility falls apart. For me, anyways. I'm not saying that Samantha's lying. Probably Samantha was not told about Doria because Samantha was living her life. But even then, that would be a very curious thing. And I would ask, why is Meghan here? Why isn't she with Doria? Where is Doria? But I mean, and then for Samantha, when she does the lawsuit and say that they're close, that she lived in the house, that she knew about Meghan, I get that. It's probably true. We know that Meghan did a bunch of skanky stuff, and now she's trying to portray herself as she barely knew Samantha. Yet she invited Samantha to her first wedding. She would call Samantha when she was in crisis, when she wasn't getting any jobs and was fed up of everything. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Markle family are still refusing to come clean? Do you think that they're covering up for Doria? I don't think Doria is threatening them in any way, shape, or form. I don't think Tom Bauer would venture himself to say something that Doria was a drug dealer in a set. She was the drug dealer in the set, where Mr. Markle worked. So, to me, drug offenses, they do have a minimum, I think, of 3 to 4 years or something like that. I can see that happening. I can see that perfectly happening. But there is no way that anybody can convince me that Doria was a loving mother. That the story now that they're trying to sell is that Meghan moved in with Doria from the age of 2 to a black neighborhood. And so that would mean that Meghan was pretty far from the private schools that Mr. Markle was financing for her. So the stories are ever changing because, let me tell you, the schools that Mr. Markle put Meghan through are very expensive. They're in a very white zip code. They were no black neighborhoods. Meghan was right. She was nowhere near Crenshaw nor Compton. This is why she was so offended, because she was nowhere near any of the black neighborhoods. That would mean that Doria would have had to drive more than 40 minutes. So the excuse that Mr. Markle has given in public that, Meghan moved in with him because it was closer to the school and Doria lived 40 minutes away does not jive. It doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't jive at all. Especially after Netflix came out. And in the Netflix episode, Doria said that she lived with Meghan and she regretted not ever having the conversation. And Meghan claiming she was never treated as a black woman until she moved to the United Kingdom.
The diversity of the UK and the immigrant culture and how that was part of the fabric of the nation.
Where the sin of the United Kingdom, the sin that they committed against Meghan Markle, was to celebrate her heritage, which she wants to forget about. You know what I really believe about Meghan Markle, what her greatest wish is? I can guarantee you that she would wish to wake up tomorrow, or even now, open and close her eyes, and be completely Caucasian. I can guarantee you that she would wish for her not to have any black heritage. And it's really funny because it's what's actually the only thing that she has over anybody, or had over anybody, because now everybody has been able to see right through her. So I'm not buying that the Markles don't know where Doria was for 8 or 9 years. What do you think? What do you think? I don't. And if any of you want to order those 2 records, go for it. Go for it. And then we wonder where Harry's getting all his drugs. We know where he's getting all his drugs. And by the way, for those beautiful people in the United States, what Harry is committing is a federal crime because he's an immigrant. He's in an immigrant's visa. So state laws do not apply. So for anybody at the Heritage Foundation, if you're listening to this, maybe instead of having one jailbird, which is Doria, you could have 2 in your hands, because it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter what he wrote in his immigration his visa application, but what matters is what he put in Spare Book and in the articles and the interview that he's been given, because with a visa, state law does not apply to him. Even if all the drugs in the world are legal in California, he cannot do them because he's an immigrant. It only applies to citizens. This is why the police always recommends for people with immigrant visa to get knowledge about not disclosing these things unless the lawyer says it's okay. and to wait until they're citizens of the United States in order to have state law apply to them where they reside. So should they have 2 jailbirds or just 1? Please let me know what you think.